English Rise Podcast.
Easy listening and speaking practice. Do you understand English, but suddenly feel lost when the accent changes? Maybe you hear Indian English, British English, or other accents, and everything becomes unclear? If that sounds familiar, don't worry. You're not bad at English. You just need to train your ears in a smarter way. Today, we're going to fix that problem together.
And that is such a real problem, Emma. A lot of learners think, "Oh no, I know this word. Why can't I hear it now?" But the answer is usually not that your English is weak. It is that your brain is meeting a sound pattern it has not practiced enough yet.
Welcome to the English Rise Podcast, easy English listening practice to help you build fluency, confidence, and real-life understanding.
That's the goal right there. Not perfect English, not perfect accent guessing, just better listening, better comfort, and better conversations.
So let's start simple. Why does one accent feel easy and another one feels like a puzzle?
Because listening is not only about vocabulary. It is also about rhythm, stress, vowel shape, and where one word ends and the next one begins. If you learned English mostly from one kind of sound, your ear becomes trained for that pattern. And a new pattern can feel fast even when it is not actually fast.
So the problem is not only speed.
Exactly. Sometimes the speaker is not speaking faster at all. They are just using different stress patterns or different vowel sounds, and your brain is working extra hard to map those sounds back to words you already know.
Can you give a simple example?
Sure. Imagine the sentence, "I can do it tomorrow." In one accent, the vowels may be very clear. In another, some sounds may be reduced, connected, or softened, so your ear hears a slightly different shape. The meaning is still the same, but your brain has to do a little more work to catch up.
So it is kind of like reading a familiar word in a new handwriting style.
Yes, that is a very good comparison. The word is there, but the shape is different enough that your brain says, "Wait, give me a second."
Now, one accent that learners mention a lot is Indian English. I want to be careful here because people sometimes talk about it like it is one single sound, but it is really not one thing, right?
Right. Indian English is a family of many voices, many regions, and many styles. Someone from Delhi may sound different from someone from Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, or Kolkata. And even within one city, you can hear a lot of variation. So the first respectful step is to stop treating it like one fixed accent.
That matters, because if we label it too simply, we stop listening and start guessing.
Exactly. But there are still some common features that listeners may notice. The rhythm can feel more syllable-based. Some consonants may sound different from what you expect, and the intonation may rise and fall in ways that feel new to your ear. None of that means the speaker is unclear.
So when someone says, "I can't understand Indian English," the better question is often, which sounds are new to me?
Yes, that question is much more useful. It turns frustration into observation.
Let's do a quick mini dialogue. Say I am a coworker and I say, "Please send me the file by evening." If I say that with a different accent, what should the listener do?
First, do not panic. Listen for the key words: send, file, evening. If one word feels unclear, use the rest of the sentence as a map. And if needed, ask a small follow-up, like, just to confirm, you want the file by this evening, right?
That sounds so much better than freezing and pretending you understood, right?
Yes, because pretending usually creates bigger problems later.
Okay, now let's talk about the brain. Sometimes the accent itself is not the only issue, is it?
No, not at all. The brain loves shortcuts, and one of its shortcuts is to expect familiar sound. So when the sound is unfamiliar, the brain gets a little nervous. Then, if you miss one word, you may start listening too hard, and suddenly you miss even more.
That spiral is very real. One missed sentence can make the next sentence feel impossible.
Exactly. And bias can make it worse. If someone already thinks this accent is hard, they may listen with tension instead of curiosity. The funny thing is, tension makes listening worse, while curiosity makes listening better.
So instead of saying, I can't understand this accent, maybe say, I'm not used to this pattern yet.
That is a much better mindset. It is fairer to the speaker and kinder to yourself.
Let's practice with real situations. Scenario 1, casual chat. You meet someone and they say, "Oh, I moved here last year, and it has been quite a journey." What do you do if part of that sounds unfamiliar?
You follow the meaning. The key idea is not every sound. It is the story. So you respond with something simple like, "Oh, really? How has it been for you?" That keeps the conversation moving while your brain keeps adjusting.
Scenario 2, a work call. Somebody says, "Let's circle back after lunch and finalize the numbers." If the accent is new to you, the words may feel mashed together.
Then focus on the action words. Circle back, after lunch, finalize the numbers. You do not need to understand every tiny sound to understand the task. And if the task matters, repeat it back. So, we'll talk again after lunch and finish the numbers, right?
That is such a useful habit. It is not rude. It is smart.
Very smart. It shows attention, not weakness.
Scenario 3, customer service or travel. Someone says, "Gate change? 1 moment, please." Or, "Your platform has changed." If the accent is unfamiliar, stress can make the message feel bigger than it is.
Yes, and in those moments, the trick is to hunt for the important noun or action. Gate change, platform change, 1 moment. Then, if needed, ask, "Sorry, could you say that once more slowly?" That is enough most of the time.
I like that because it is direct and polite.
And it saves energy. You do not need a perfect sentence. You need a clear one.
Now, let's talk about training your ear. What actually helps over time?
3 things help a lot. First, short exposure with focus. Second, repetition. Third, active guessing. Listen to a short clip, pause, replay, and try to identify where the sentence begins and ends. Then check the transcript or subtitle after you make your guess.
So subtitles are not cheating?
Not at all. They are training wheels. At first, use them to connect sound with meaning. Later, remove them for a little while and see what you can catch on your own.
What about shadowing? People always talk about shadowing.
Shadowing helps a lot because when you repeat a sentence out loud, your mouth and ears learn together. You start noticing rhythm, pauses, and stress patterns. Even if you do it badly at first, it still helps your ear become less afraid of the sound.
That is encouraging. So learners do not need to become experts. They just need enough practice to stop feeling shocked.
Yes, the goal is comfort. Once you feel calmer, comprehension improves faster.
Let's do another quick repair example. Someone says, "We'll meet at 6:30." A learner hears only half of it and says, "Sorry? What is the best next step?"
Ask for the key part, not the whole thing again. Say, "Sorry, did you say 6:30?" That is short, clear, and useful. If you ask for everything again, the other person may repeat the same way. But if you ask for the time, you get the answer you need.
That is such a good distinction. Ask for the missing piece, not the whole mountain.
Exactly.
What if the listener feels embarrassed in the moment?
Then keep the sentence simple in your head. I am learning. Because everyone has moments like this. Even native speakers, when they hear a very unfamiliar accent, a noisy place, or a fast conversation. You are not alone.
That really matters. People often think they are the only ones struggling.
They are not. And once you accept that, the fear gets smaller.
Before we close, can you give listeners a very simple listening rule they can use today?
Yes. Listen for meaning, not for perfect sound. If you catch the topic, the action, and the important detail, you are already doing real communication. Then let exposure do its job over time.
So the better goal is not, I must understand every accent perfectly. The better goal is, I will understand more than I understood last week.
That is exactly it. Small progress is real progress.
Remember, understanding English accents is not about intelligence. It's about practice and exposure. You don't need to understand everything perfectly right away. Just improve step by step, a little every day. If you enjoyed this episode, come back again and keep practicing with us. We'll keep learning together. Easy listening, better speaking, rise higher.
And if today's episode helped you, keep listening to short conversations, keep replaying difficult parts, and keep being curious. That is how your ear gets stronger, one conversation at a time.